First, I've watched TENET 3 times. After watching it twice, I read and watched a lot of articles and videos that people analyze TENET to understand it better. Second, this video contains spoilers of Back to the Future, Avengers Endgame, Predestination, and Time Machine. If you haven't seen TENET yet, watch my no spoiler review and TENET before you watch this. Third, I was born and raised in South Korea. As a non-native English speaker, I could speak ungrammatically. Please consider that. If you have a question about the movie, comment down below and let's discuss it together. And before we start this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel. Mon Kingdom. Time travel in the movies can generally be grouped into 3 categories: immutable timeline, mutable timeline, and alternate parallel timeline. In the mainstream universe, we all share the same past and will share the same future. When a time traveler from this mainstream universe goes back into the past, they actually create a split-off universe which diverges from the mainstream universe. The most famous parallel timeline movie is Avengers Endgame. In the movie, Avengers travel to the past, New York, in 2012. Hulk gets the time stone from Ancient One. Steve gets the scepter. Loki disappears with the Tesseract. So Cap and Iron Man travel to 1970 and steal the Tesseract. In 2013, Asgard, Thor, and Rocky steal the Reality Stone and the hammer. 2014, Nebula and Rhodey get the Power Stone. Vormir, Natasha, and Clint get the Soul Stone. After the final war, Cap returns the stones and the hammer. He can return the Soul Stone to Vormir, but he can't recover the divergent timeline, the timeline that Loki disappears with the Space Stone, and the timeline that there's no Thanos and his army. In this timeline, you can change something in the past and it changes the future. The famous mutable timeline we know is Back to the Future. Dr. Brown invented the time machine. Marty went back to 1955. The future has been changed when he came back, cause he involved the past. His dad could have not met his mom, and his existence could have been erased. No grandfather paradox in mutable timeline. If you travel to the past and you killed your granddad, you would vanish, and the future you know will be gone, and a new timeline will be made. In this timeline, it's impossible to change the past, present, or future. Every moment is set. The famous mutable timeline movies are Predestination and The Time Machine. In The Time Machine, a professor invented the time machine because his wife died and he wanted to save her, but he couldn't change her death because he invented time machine to save his wife. But if his wife wasn't dead, he wouldn't invent the time machine, so he cannot change the past. In Predestination, there's a temporal agent to prevent a criminal from the crimes killing many people, and he got burnt by criminal. He got face and voice surgery. He traveled to the past and looked for a man who works his job. And he found one, and then, just like TENET, what's happened. The bomb attack killing many people is inevitable. Someone might want to see this movie, so I won't spoil it. Now, this is it. TENET is also an immutable timeline. For 2 weeks in opera as a CIA, see the inversion for the first time, tortured, take a pill, wake up, be a member of TENET, recover, meet a scientist, learn the inversion, meet Neil, Priya, and also meet Michael Caine. For next 1 week, approach Kat to meet Sator, report in Oslo, crash a plane, find the turnstile, meet Sator, invited to his yacht, steal 241 in Tallinn, see the inversion in highway, get caught, travel backwards through time for a week, his first inversion, lose the plutonium, inversion in Oslo, and back to the time forward. Meet Priya, not to tell the past him, and promise not to kill Kat. Invert and travel backwards to the final battle. Final battle. Underground. Say goodbye to Neil. More than 3 weeks after. Get the message from Kat, go back to the time he got the message, kill Priya. Found Tenet in the future. You don't have to know what entropy is to understand the movie.
Don't try to understand it. Feel it.
The important thing is the inversion, the technology that people in the future will invent. You drop it, it rises. You shoot a bullet, you catch it. Then how do they invert things? We never know. Cause it's a future tech. But the future sent the inverted thing back to the past and they used them. A revolving door is one of them. You are inverted when you get into a turnstile. Red is time forward and blue is time backward. When you are inverted, you travel backwards through time and use the turnstile again. You're back to the time forward. A 20-year-old man in 2020 uses the turnstile after 1 year. Travels backwards through time for a year. And uses the turnstile to come back to the time forward. He traveled forward for a year and traveled backward for a year. So he's 22 in 2020. I'll give you an example. Time for red me on 0 meter line and inverted blue me on 5 meter line. Both are moving 1 meter per second. Case 1. When only red me moves to 5 meter line from the starting line, a time for a third person sees that the blue is still and only the red is moving to 5 meter line. But the blue sees the red not coming but going away. Because time travels backwards, res 0 is blues 5, res 1 is blues 4. Just like that. Case 2. When only blue me moves to 0 meter line, time for third person sees, just like the movement of the red in case 1, the red is still and only the blue is moving to 5 meter line. But the blue walks backwards. Just like the blue in case 1, the red in case 2 sees the blue going away. Case 3. Both start at the same time. They walk side by side. A third person sees this, but the blue walks backwards. A time backward person sees time forward things travel backwards. A time forward person sees time backward things travel backwards. Therefore, they see them travel backwards each other. One day, I talked about destiny with my sister. I said I believe there's no destiny or fate. If there is, I'll overcome it. My sister said, everything is all set. You trying to overcome it, and it's also a part of it. After watching Tenet, it reminds me of that conversation. Let's say if there's a fate that I can never play in the NBA, I knew it somehow, so I trained hard and I play in the NBA. In my point of view, I've overcome my fate. Every effort I've done is all free will. But in the point of view of my sister, every effort I've done to overcome the fate that I can never play in the NBA is also all set. Then why would Tenet try to prevent the end of the world if everything is predetermined? What's happened, happened. You gotta experience and feel it to understand it, like people in the movie. The protagonist should find Tenet in the future after he killed Priya if he didn't think that he had to find Tenet, because what's happened in the past already happened. No Tenet in the future and no people who fight against the people in the future. What's happened happened, but if he did not recruit Neil in the future, it wouldn't happen in the past. He doubted that what he has done in the past won't happen in his future, so he would find Tenet eventually. He can't bet the end of the world just to check if he was right about what's happened, even if he ain't do nothing. Cause the best result is he was right. Otherwise, the world ends. He could think what I guessed that he would do it, or he didn't think of it. Eventually, the result is he will find Tenet, so everything is all set. It's a fate that they tryna stop the world inversion. They think they do something with their own free will. It's also fate that they think that's a free will. Here, I'm eating chicken and I plan to invert myself to grab a piece. When the chicken is served on my table, inverted me is already eating a piece of chicken. In my point of view, I ordered 5 pieces, but just 4 pieces were served. Inverted me took a piece out of the mouth and put it back on the plate. What if I finish chicken and plan to invert myself through a turnstile to steal chicken? Then I suddenly changed my mind at the door. What's happened, happened. So it was already predetermined that I changed my mind. When the moment I was eating chicken, inverted me wouldn't be there. All 5 pieces of chicken would be served. In the movie, they talked about free will. From the perspective of the movie, they did something with their own free will, but it was already all set. Neil went to Turnstile after he heard what happened in the underground. He thought it was future him. It's a paradox. He decided what to do in the future by seeing future himself doing something. What if he didn't go to open the door? It won't happen, cause what's happened happened and everything was already set. He could presume if he didn't open the door, they couldn't get the algorithm and it will deliver to the future and their world ends. He would not choose not to go to open the door because he wouldn't take a risk of the end of the world to prove himself that he can change his own fate. He considered every consequence and he went back to the timeline that he went to the tunnel with his own free will. It is all set. He believed it's his free will, but from the point of view of the fate, it manipulates everything, but people never know it is all set. But the belief that it's a free will is, like Neil said, what's happened happened, which is an expression of fate in the mechanics of the world. It's not an excuse to do nothing. Reality. Why did the protagonist keep helping Kat? I think because it's nice. In opera, his CIA team said, out of our mission, but he trying to save people from the explosion. After he woke up from the coma, he asked, did my team get clear? And in Mumbai, Neil asked him if he would take a child hostage or a woman. He said no, and a woman if he had to. When they were planning to crash an airplane, he said no passenger, and he worried about the cruise. He is just a good man, but he might like her a little bit, cause in the last conversation with Neil said, you going back to London and check Kat, are you? But he said no, far too dangerous, even from the far. A lot of people don't understand this movie. I also did not understand it at first. People said it's not a movie as good as the other Nolan's movies, cause is the movie hard to understand? To me, It's a great movie. I don't know. Maybe I love SF more than other kinds of movies? I'm gonna make videos from the perspective of the main characters to understand the movie better. See you in the next video.
Tennis. Last time it was no tennis.
Mon Kingdom.